Hi guys, I know I'm not here for 7th and 8th period, so we're experimenting with a new form of watching me teach you. So everyone take a minute or so to try and find the right answer to the factors of x squared minus 10x plus 24. Remember the 1am method that I taught to you on Thursday and that you practiced when you did homework number 10. So take a minute and answer. Okay, now that you have answered, we can eliminate choice A because 6 times 4 is 24, but 6 plus 4 is not negative 10. It's positive 10. So answer choice A is wrong. Negative 12 and positive 2 do add up to negative 10, which is the middle term, but negative 12 times 2 is negative 24, not positive 24. So B is incorrect. For C, you should have negative 6 and negative 4. They add up to negative 10, and negative 6 times negative 4 does equal positive 24. So C is your answer. X plus 3 and x plus 8. 3 times 8 does give you 24, but 3 plus 8 is a positive 11, not negative 10. So hopefully you got it right. If not, now you see why it's correct. Okay, what I want you to do right now is to try and simplify both of these. Okay, so 3 plus 6 plus 12, that's 9 plus 12, should give you 21. For this one here on the right, if we follow PEMDAS, we would do what's inside the parentheses first. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7. So we should have 3 times 7. And 3 times 7 is also 21. So they're both 21. What this 3 is, however, is what we call the GCF. We just transformed this thing here on the left into this expression on the right hand side. If you notice the numbers 3, 6, and 12, they're all divisible by 3. So how many times does 3 go into 3? It goes in 1 time. How many times does 3 go into 6? It goes in 2 times. And how many times does 3 go into 12? It goes in 4 times. So every term has a 3 as a factor, so we could factor out what they have in common. So we took out the 3 and we put what's left inside. Okay, so what we could also do is the 3 times parentheses 1 plus 2 plus 4 can be checked by distributing the 3 back in. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 4 is 12. So these two are equivalent expressions, yet this one has been factored, meaning that the GCF, the greatest common factor, has been taken out and it's on the outside. Okay, so this next question is important, and this is what the key of today's lesson is about. How do we factor completely? So if you look at x squared minus 10x plus 24, let me remind you this is from the do now. There is no GCF because not every term has an x in it. So they do not have an x in common. And 24 and 10 have 2 in common, but there's no 2 in front of the x squared. So there's no GCF. So it could be factored as normal, which is the 1am method. What two numbers multiply to get 24 that add up to negative 10? So x minus 6 and x minus 4. Negative 6 and negative 4 add up to negative 10. Negative 6 times negative 4 multiplies to get 24. Okay, so now what if we look at x cubed minus 10x squared plus 24x? Now, this one does not have a number in front, so it does not have any numbers in common, but each term has an x in it. So the smallest x here is the single x, then there's 2 here and there's 3 here. So the GCF, what they all have in common is simply x, okay? So the GCF is x. we can now take the x out. By taking the x out, we took 1 out of this one, so there's 2 left over. We're taking 1 out of this one, so there's 1 left over. And we took the entire x out, so there's a 24 left over. So to check yourself, you could distribute back. X times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 10x is negative 10x squared. And x times 24 is 24x. So once you've taken out the GCF, you see if you could factor what's left over. And if you notice what we have on top, that's what we now have in the parentheses. So this should be completely factored now. If we write it like this, x parentheses x minus 6 times x minus 4. It's important that you leave the GCF out in front, okay? Because these two red expressions are not the same, so the blue factors are slightly different. This one has the extra x in front. Now let's look at this last trinomial. If you notice 2x squared minus 20x plus 48, they no longer all have an x in common because there's no x in the 48, but the numbers 2, 20, and 48 are all even. So what number goes into each term is an x. Is a 2. So each term has a 2 in it. So we could basically, it's like we're dividing out the 2, but we have to leave it there. Okay, so if we divide every term by 2, we get x squared minus 10x plus 24, but you have to leave that 2 out in front. So to check, you distribute back, okay? And we can factor what's in the parentheses even further. So we should have 2 and then x minus 6, x minus 4. So all of these now are factored completely. GCF in front, and then the rest is completely factored. Just a reminder that the first one had no GCF, so there's nothing out in front. Okay, this is a Regents question that I found that I really like. What I want you to notice is how the answer choices show that there's more than one answer. So the question is, the expression 4x squared minus 4x minus 120 is equivalent to which of these above? So there's at least two or three that are correct. So I'm going to give you some time to try and figure it out, and you'll pick your right answer. Okay, now that you have had time to work it out, I want you to notice, let's just start with number 1. If we distribute the 2 back, we get 4x squared minus 4x and minus 120. And that is exactly what we have here. So that means 1 is a solution. Okay, so I am going to cross off any answer that does not have 1 as an answer. Okay, so 1 does work. If you look at the remaining choices, is it 1 and 2 or is it 1, 2, and 4? That means answer choice 3 must not be a solution. And then it also means that 2 is also equivalent. So let's look at 2 real quick. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. A negative 4x and 4 times negative 30 is negative 120. So that is true. Now let's just look at number 4 because this looks different. Okay, what is this 4x actually multiplying? It's only multiplying the x and the negative 1. So 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x, and then we subtract the 120 at the end. So this too is also equivalent. So that makes answer choice 3 the correct answer. Okay. All right, so you're going to work on Delta Math 11 now. I will be checking to see who has done Delta Math 11, and I will give credit for your classwork today. It will be counted as homework 11, but I will check tonight to see who got started on it. You will have a 3-question quiz tomorrow based on homeworks 8, 9, and 10. So please make sure, if you did not do homework 10, You could do a few of those first and then move on to homework 11 so that you're prepared for tomorrow.